Today we are having a look at how to transform our business using Dynamics Business Central. Right? And in transforming our business, first of all, we want to understand what Dynamics entails. So getting to know how Dynamics started, right? The modules within Dynamics, how we can access Dynamics, and the various benefits that we get within Dynamics. So basically, that is what you want to do. Then we have a little bit of a practical session where we look at the system, right? How it works, how the dashboard looks like, the various modules, and how to access the modules. And we will run a quick transaction within the system for us to really understand how the system works. So basically, that is our agenda for today. So in understanding what business dynamics is, right? Basically, we are saying business dynamics, or sorry, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. It's an all-in-one software program which is made by Microsoft to help small and medium businesses run their entire operations from one place. When Microsoft started, at first the system was running in silos. So you could see maybe procurement have their own system. Finance will also have their own system. HR will have their own system. The sales also have their own system. So Microsoft thought about it and sat down to put a system in place. So instead of juggling between different applications, right, we now have a system that will consolidate all our operations into one system. Basically, that is what Microsoft Dynamics does. It's helping us put all our operations into one system. So when sales is performing a transaction, finance is seeing. When procurement is performing a transaction, finance is also seeing. When HR is performing an operation, finance is also seeing. So all these operations have been put into one for us to be able to go around our various duties. Good. So moving on, this is where Dynamics started. It started as Navision, and it began in the year 1984, somewhere in Denmark, and it started as an on-prem business solution, which was running physically on a server. So as time evolved, Microsoft thought that they should now shift to the cloud base where you can access it from anywhere, any device, anywhere as well. So with that at the back of our mind, currently the system keeps on progressing. And as it stands now, you have a little bit of AI also embedded in it. So as time is evolving, the system is also improving to help our various operations, because operations keeps on also evolving. And as business also evolves, we need systems that will help make our work easier. So currently, the new system inculcates all the various operations for an organization all in one. So you have automations, you have bank reconciliation, you have inventory, all of them are embedded into one system to make work smarter and faster and more strategic when you are taking a decision. Basically, that is what the introduction is about. So shifting the business from the on-prem to the cloud base, where you can also access it from everywhere, anywhere, and at any time. That is basically what we are trying to say with the introduction of the Business Central. Good. And moving on to, we have various modules within the Business Central. So we have the financial management. So financial management is basically managing our various ledgers. We have budgeting, we have cost centers, your taxes, you have your financial statements. All those things are part of the finance management. And that forms the backbone of the whole system. In every organization, you need a backbone, or your finance is basically the backbone. That is where the ins and outs of the business really takes place. So you can find that in the system. Moving on, we also have the fixed assets module. So the fixed assets module is basically tracking the life cycle of a fixed asset, from acquisition to depreciation to disposal to all the other things that you expect within a fixed asset module. The system has it in there. So the system also has the cash and bank management. Basically, what the system is saying is within the cash and bank management, you have your various bank accounts which you mimic in the system. So just like we have our normal banks accounts that we operate, you can also mimic the same flow within the system, where when you can perform a transaction with your bank account, and you can print out your report and maybe share it with your bank to also effect that transaction for you. So the same way you have cash in hand in your various organizations, you can also mimic the same process within the system. There is also sales and receivables in the system. So basically, the sales and receivable is where you do your various businesses with your customers, and the receivables are basically you receiving various monies from your customers. So with the sales, we have a little bit, or I would say a little bit of CRM in the system where you can input the various leads that you encounter outside the organization. With the sales team, they go around, they find leads, and they transact various businesses with them. So once you have a lead, you can input it in the system. You have your various marketing pipelines where your lead will have to go through various processes before they become a final customer. All those let's say processes can be found in the system. Once the lead becomes a customer, you can transact business. And once you transact the business, you can go ahead and receive monies from the various customers. Within the sales and receivables, we have various reports. We have the customer aging and other reports that you can have in the system. You can create a sales quote. You can create a sales order. You can have an invoice. You can also do customer pricing, price differentiations also in the system. So moving away from sales, we also have the purchasing and payables setup, purchasing and payables module also in the system, where it talks about our various transactions that we do with our vendors, our suppliers who give us our various products that we sell or we use in our various businesses. So within the system, you also have the vendors, which are your various suppliers. You can have a purchase quote. You can have a purchase order. So the purchase quote is basically your pro forma. Can have the purchase order. You can have the purchase invoices, and also you can do returns in case what you purchased there was a shortfall or it has a fault within it. You can also return it. Within the purchasing management or the purchasing module, you can also have your aged counts also in there. So there are various reports that you can also run within the system. There is also inventory management where you track your various items, your stock level, your costing method, availability of the item, and all those things. You can also have it within the system. You can also have it within the system. And on the inventory management, you can also track your various items. You can add expiry to items in case there are items that do have expiries. You can also have it in the system. So moving on onto the modules, we also have the warehouse management where you manage the various inventory that you have within your warehouse. So you have the physical stock count where you match the physical stock you have against what you have in the system. In the system, you can have your various warehouses, which in the system are called locations. You can have bins where you keep your items. There is warehouse receipts, there is shipments, and you can also do your inventory count within the system. There is also manufacturing module within the system. In the manufacturing model, you have to ensure that you have your various bill of materials, you have your routing, your production orders, your various machine capacities, and all those things. You can set all that within the system and you can run your manufacturing from the system. So in the system also, there is the jobs or the project module. So the project module is basically for project costing, where when you're running various projects for clients or your customers, you can input all the various, I would say, lines within the project module. You can add the cost and you can also add the selling bits also to it. You can add all the materials where you track the various budget materials against what you are spending. And you can have your work in progress. You can track your work in progress and also know your project profitability. Okay. There is also the service management module where you do after sales service of items. So this is basically where, example, like you've sold items to a customer, and afterwards you have to do maintenance or you have to do an after sales service for this particular customer. You can also input those kind of things within the system. And as I made mention with the sales section, where we have the CRM, the leads bit, in the system also, we can have the leads also within the system. There is a CRM portion where you have the leads, you have your various campaigns, you have opportunity, which is the marketing pipeline that you always go through, and you can also log interactions that you've had with your various clients also in the system. The system also has an HR functionality, which is basically your employee management and also absences. You can manage all that within the system. And moving on, the system also has an administrative side, which you can manage your permissions, your profile, your company setup, and you have an audit trail. All those fall within the administration management within the system. So moving away from the various modules, we are also looking at how to access Dynamics. So in accessing Dynamics, Dynamics can be accessed through three main portals or three main forms. First of all, we have the web client, which you just need a link. You just input the link on your browser and you can easily access the system. The next one is we have the mobile app, or if you are using an Android or a Mac, you can have all those installed on your phone. So when you go to the App Store, you can get the applications. Once you search for Dynamics Business Central, you would see the application. And you can also have the desktop app, right? Where you install the application on your desktop or on your machine. So these are the various ways in which you can access Dynamics. So Dynamics is cloud-based. So with just internet, a browser, a mobile phone, you can easily access Dynamics from everywhere. Good. Okay, so moving on, these are some few benefits that I've outlined here, which you can get from Dynamics. From Dynamics, Dynamics is a single source. So within Dynamics, you don't have data in silos. So example, like finance will work somewhere, procurement will work somewhere, and somebody would have to sit and consolidate. Within Business Central, you have all those information all merged as one. So once finance is performing an activity, sales is performing an activity, procurement is performing an activity, the manager or the directors can easily sit at one place, open their system, and know exactly what is going on within the system. Also, Dynamics as a single source. Within your organization, you can have procurement, you can have warehousing, all within the system. So as soon as procurement buys something, they can notify warehouse with their warehouse receipt within the system. and warehouse will be expecting items that should be delivered to them. Also, as a single source of system, you can also have sales performing a sale, notifying warehouse that they've sold particular items, and the warehouse person will now arrange for the items to be shipped out of the warehouse. Okay, so moving on, Dynamics is seamless. So when we say seamless, it means there is zero delays in any action. Once you perform an action, automatically it reflects. So in situations where finance has to enter, let's say, a payment for the vendor balance to reduce, as soon as finance enters the payment, automatically a director can sit on his desk and see the vendor balance is reducing. So he does not have to worry so much that he feels he's paying his various vendors, but within the balances, it's not reducing. So it's real-time information. Once you input, automatically you're able to see what is going on. And based on the inputs, directors are able to take real-time decisions. So example, like we are selling, we have products that we are selling. So once a director sits on the machine, he can easily access inventory and see the inventories that they have to alert procurement to top up and all those things. So you can make real-time decisions. If you have to also pay a vendor, once you are buying, you can easily access the vendor information and also know when you also want to pay your vendors. Within the system also, you can have various, so you can see top selling items which you really have to invest in, and all the other things also as relevant information on your dashboard. Okay. So we say the system is in terms of scalability and security, Microsoft also does the various backups and also does the various patch by itself. So the system is cloud-based, and basically the backups and all those things sit inside the cloud. So there's nothing like somebody is going to hack your server. All those things are gone now. So you don't have to worry about an intruder hacking your server and all those things. So basically, once you choose Dynamics, you are secured. You know your data. There is no data breach. Nobody is going to hack you, and all the other things. So moving on, I would leave the slide for now, and now we will have a look at the system itself. We'll look at the various. We'll have a practical feel of the system. So currently what you are seeing is this. This is how the system looks. So currently I am using the web version. This is my URL. This is all what I need. I just input it into my URL and the system opens for me. So currently what you are seeing is my dashboard, right? So the system is role tailored. Once a role is assigned to you, those are the things that you see. What you see is in relation to the role that has been assigned you. So this is my dashboard. I'm logged in. Currently, I'm logged in as an accounts person. So all what I see will be finance based. So this is how the system looks like. This is the company that I'm logged in currently. So once you log in, this is your welcome page. And when you scroll down here, you see activities that are going on. So these activities will give you real-time information, which you can take decision on it. So this is the sales we've done so far for the month. It's giving me on my dashboard. So with this, if I want to, let's say, speak to my sales team, or if I feel they have to do more, I can easily call my sales team and speak to them. Moving on, these green boxes here in the system, they are called queues or tiles. They give you a fair idea of what is going on in your organization. So currently, ongoing sales, I can see whatever is going on. I have 0 sales codes and 3 sales orders. I've not completed any, and there are 0 sales invoices currently pending. When I come to my right side, I see ongoing purchases. So I can see all the purchases that are going on. So currently I have 2 purchase orders. There are no ongoing purchase invoices, and there is no purchase invoices for next week that are scheduled for next week. When I come down here too, I see things in relation to payments, right? So these are activities that are ongoing. Currently, I have one attachment here. This is what I see. So moving down also, I have various, this is user tax. So this queue also populates when there has been a tax that has been assigned to me within the system. So currently there is no tax assigned to me. And these job queues run as and when I'm performing various activities within the system. So I have email status within the system. The system also sends emails. So once the email fails, I can also come here and come and resend the email. Good. The system also has approval. So once there is any document or any process routed to me that needs my approval, I would also see the notifications also in here. And good. I have my intercompany tab. So within the system, you can have multiple companies within the system. So example, like if I'm trading between my, let's say my parents' company and a junior company, I can have notifications also ongoing here. Coming down here is the self-service. So basically within the system, the self-service is in relation to timesheets. And these timesheets are related to the various projects that you run within the system. So I can have timesheets notification here. And moving down, we have my Shopify activities. So the system can be easily linked to the various Shopify stores where you get notifications of the activities ongoing. So when I come, moving on, when I come down here, I have certain insights, informations that I can easily look at. So this is my aged accounts payable. When I look at this, I can easily see what is going on, how much I owe my various vendors, and make a decision whether I want to pay them or I don't want to pay them. And when you look on my right side here, these are various accounts that I can add, which I want to keep tabs on. So our finance people, if we've been assigned any, let's say, particular tax to keep tabs on certain, let's say, accounts, we can easily add them on here. So moving down, these are also graphs where you can add. So I can schedule a trial balance, or just like I have here, I can easily add a graph of a trial balance on here, which I can view anytime, any day. And when you look on my right side here, this is basically the system telling us that we can easily integrate Power BI into the Dynamics Business Central, since it's a Microsoft product. So you can easily integrate here where you can fidget with your various Power BI reports and whatever information on whatever reports that we want, we can easily get or easily send it into Power BI. So when we come down here, which is the last tab on our dashboard, you can schedule reports. So example, like every Monday morning, I have to report on certain activities that I do. I can easily schedule it here, or I can queue the reports here. So each time that particular time set gets there, the report automatically populates on here, which I can view for whatever that I want to do. Good. So within the dashboard, you see this like a house icon here. This is basically to help you switch between companies. So the system can host lots of companies, right? You can have multiple companies within the system. So once I click here, it gives me access to the companies that I'm entitled to. So I can easily switch between companies. Within the system, this, let's say, magnifier icon is called the global search, where I can use to search everything within the system. So once I start typing, it gives me options that I can easily choose from. So depending on whatever I'm doing, I can easily select. So this notification icon also is a notification from Microsoft as and when they are upgrading the system, as and when they are doing any patches in relation to the system. Microsoft gives me a notification here, so I can easily see it from here. This icon is basically the settings icon. So the settings icon has certain functions that I can easily look at. So when I pick personalize is basically me customizing my screen to see whatever I want. So I can hide something, I can make something visible, so I can easily make this show on my dashboard. I can easily hide this. So let me hide this. Good. I can easily customize my screen to suit exactly what I want, right? So that is for the personalize. And design is basically when you are doing the configuration, right? If I want things to show which will affect everybody, I can use the design where you make things show which affects the whole system. So design is for the whole system, personalization is for an individual. Basically, those are the things that, and when I come to my settings, on my settings, that is where I see the role that I'm assigned to, the company that I'm working in, the work dates, the region, my time zone, and all those things I see it from here. Also from the settings icon, I can also switch between the companies that I'm working within. So that also performs that function in there. On the settings also, I can easily view my company information also from here. So these three are basically setups which normally individuals who will be using the system wouldn't be seeing. But basically what they will be seeing is my settings and personalized depending on the permission that has been assigned you. Good. So this question mark icon basically is help, which gives you ideas of what is going on within the system. So on here, you can read, you can join communities. It's more or less like the help button of the system. So you can go to anything Microsoft and go and learn about the system. Whatever you want to know about the system, you can also learn it from there. And you have this icon here. This icon is basically the user that I'm using. So this is my user and I can easily sign out from the system. So basically that is what my dashboard entails. And good. So moving on, there are other things that you can easily see on my dashboard. So this is the finance tab. So when I click on the finance tab, I see things in relation to finance, right? I see my general ledger, chart of accounts. All these things are financial things that I see within the system. When I come to my cash management, just as we looked at, I see my bank accounts, I see my payment journal, my bank statements, my payment terms, all those things can be seen here. When I pick the sales, I have my sales codes, my customers, which are my sales invoice, all those things, I can see it here. Can set reminders and all those things from the sales tab. When we pick the purchasing tab 2, I have various things in relation to purchasing. I have my suppliers, which are my vendors, my purchase codes, my purchase order, my purchase return order, my posted purchase receipt. You have all those things there. And these are my customers, vendors. These are things that I can easily add. And when I click on the reports, I can see all reports within the system. So if I want to view any reports, it's either I'm viewing the report through the particular, let's say, channel, or I can come to my dashboard depending on the role center. If I'm supposed to see this, once I click on it, I have all the reports at my disposal, so I can easily explore all the reports that I want to explore. So another thing is I have these 3 lines here. When I click on these 3 lines, I get this. So in getting this is basically showing me all the things that I have at my disposal based on my role center and also the permission that I have and the kind of license that I'm also using. It's showing me all the things that I'm exposed to. So currently, I'm using the business manager, which is the same as the CEO role. So I have access to all these. I have access to all these under finance. I have access to all these under okay, this is also finance. I have all these under manufacturing. I have inventory and warehouse. I have human resource. I have projects. I have sales and marketing. I have purchasing. I have resources. I have sustainability, I have service management, and I also have the system administration also at my disposal. So within that, I can explore all these options, or I can explore all that is within the system. So moving on, we are going to perform a simple transaction within the system for us to know or for us to appreciate how exactly the system is easy for use. So we just want to perform a sales order. So we are performing a sales order, but within the sales order, we would realize the quantity that you are selling is not sufficient. So we would have to go and buy additional quantities and add up before we continue our sales. That is basically what we are going to be doing. That is the example that we want to have a look at. Good. So for me to do that, I can easily use my sales icon here. I can easily use my sales icon here. I click here, or I can easily use my search. So for me, I would use the icon. I click on the sales codes because that is where normally our sales starts from. Good. So I'll click on the new and I have my sales codes in here, right? So on the sales code, I would have to select exactly the customer that I'm selling to. So I would just go pick any random customer. So let me say, I'll pick this customer. That is the person that I'm selling to. So once I pick that particular customer, I have the details of the customer also showing here, which is the address, the city, all those things, the province, all those things showing on here. And this is the date today. This is when I'm capturing the particular code, right? The particular sales code. The particular sales code. So let me just minimize this. This is what I have here. So this is what is showing. This is our customer. If you have any external documents number or any reference that you want to give it, we can easily give it. But by default, this is the number that the system is giving it. This is our sales code number, right? Good. So aside that, when we come down here, once we input the customer, we come down to the lines. The lines is where we indicate what exactly we are selling. So let me just pick this item. These are default items that I created for us to go through the example. Once I pick the item that I'm selling, I'll go ahead and indicate the warehouse where I'm selling the items from, right? So I indicate the warehouse and the quantity that the particular customer is requesting for. So let me do, let's say 10. And the unit of measure is pieces. So unit of measure, it's already populated, which comes with the item. Then I will just give it my sales amount, depending on what how much I want to sell it, or depending on how much I bought it for. Good. So let me just do 1,000 here, or maybe 1,500 here. Good. To be my sales price. So within the system, you can give discounts for particular lines. You can also give a discount for the whole invoice. So depending on the conversation or the agreement you have with your various customers, you can either add a discount to a particular line or for the whole invoice. And within the system also, you can have your various VAT computations also being inputted here. Good. So once you input the item, the sales price, automatically I have this because the customer is a Canadian customer, so automatically my currency changed to Canadian USD or Canadian dollar. So whatever I enter here is also Canadian dollar. Good. And that one will be translated to our Ghana cedi, which has been set as our base currency for the system. So once I check and everything is okay within this code, in certain organizations, a sales rep will enter a code and will send to a supervisor for the supervisor to vet whatever has been done before it's shared with the client. So if that is the case, then the sales rep will now come to request approval, send this particular document to the supervisor for the supervisor to also vet the document and approve on it. Once you share, automatically the supervisor would see on the dashboard just as I was showing earlier, and the supervisor can now access the documents and also share. And within this particular sales code, you can have attachments. So based on maybe what the customer shared with you or something, you can have an attachment on here where you attach the document and share with your supervisor for the supervisor to vet the document. And now it moves on onto the next stage. So since I'm the same person running through the system, so I'll quickly approve of this particular document. So I'll just click on release to approve it. So once I click on the release, automatically the system gets to know that I'm approving this particular sales code. So now I can have my printout. By default, this is the printout that comes with the system. So I can easily share this printout with the clients that requested for this particular headset. So I can share the printout with the customer. Once the customer is okay, I can go ahead and make this an order and also share the order with the customer also as well. Good. So moving on, I come here and I see make order. So I can easily click the make order. So within the system, I don't have to leave or go out. Within the system, I can easily make the order. So I click on make order. I say, yes, I want to turn it into an order. So automatically the code converts into an order. So do I want to open the order? I say yes. And this is my order. So currently the order is showing a different number, right? So, and within the system also, as and when I'm doing the transaction, I'm also getting notifications. So I have a notification here, which is telling me the item that I want to sell, the quantity available is lower than what the quantity that I'm selling in relation to the particular warehouse or particular place where I'm selling these items from is lower. So meaning I would have to get more quantities to be able to sell this particular quantity, right? So for me to do that within the system, I can easily come to my actions. I click on function and I come to create purchase document, meaning I would have to go and buy to top up whatever I'm buying. So currently I click on the create purchase order. Good. And within the purchase order, currently it's telling me sales order quantity is 10. So the additional quantity that I have to purchase to make this particular sale go through is 8. So I would select the vendor that I'm buying these additional quantities from. So let me just pick any vendor. So let me just pick this vendor as an example. So I just pick the vendor, and once I pick the vendor, I click on OK. Once I click on OK, automatically my purchase quote is created for me. So I can easily I can easily share this purchase quote with my supplier for my supplier to also supply me with the quantities that I need to sell. Good. So once I'm here, I can easily share this document. So it has a print button where you have the default printout also here. So let's view the default printout. So this is how our default printout looks like. So it's showing the quantities and all the informations that we need for the particular purchase to go through. Good. So it's displaying the multi-thread, the vendor that I'm buying the items from, the dates, and all other details, all other necessary details also on here. Good. So once I'm okay with the price that the vendor is giving me, also, I think when you come down here, based on the currency that the vendor has been assigned to the vendor, also this is showing a different currency, right? So you also have to be mindful of the exchange rates as well. So I can also change the currency as well if I'm not, so let me just change it to Canadian. So we have a unified currency. So I can also have the Canadian USD also here. So I have a unified currency also on here. So depending on the negotiations with your vendor, these amounts can either reduce or increase, right? So once I'm okay with it, the procurement clerk will also send this to through the approval matrix, and whoever has to approve the purchase will now approve of the purchase. And now this particular purchase can go through. So for me to do that, let me quickly release it and enter a vendor invoice number first or a vendor reference first. So let me do TDD. So once I enter my vendor invoice number or my vendor reference, I can easily send this for approval. And once it's approved, which should the status changes to released, I can now go ahead and post this particular document or post this particular purchase for it to affect my inventory. So once it's posted, I get these notifications. The order is posted to this number and move to posted purchase invoice window. Do you want to view? So for now, we wouldn't view, so I'll just click on no. Good. So automatically it closes the purchase, right? So our purchase has been completed. So we can now go ahead and sell these items to the particular customer. So we've done a top up. So once we are here, if this particular sales order also has to go through approval, you can also select and you send it through the various approval matrix for the various supervisors to vet the document or the sale. Once you are done, before it's approved, the status is open. Once it's sent for approval, the status changes to pending approval. So once it's approved, automatically the status changes to released. So I can now go ahead and post this particular sale for it to affect my various items and also the customer that I'm selling to. So basically this, once I post the document, this ends my sale, and I can easily go into the items, just go and check exactly what I did if the transaction has taken place. So I think we saw the headset, so I can easily search. Good. So once I come here, I can easily click on the inventory number to show me all the inventory details that I just did here. So we went to buy 8 and we sold 10. So basically, I have my item ledger entries showing on here for me. Good. And when I go to the customer also, I can also see the sale that I've done in relation to the customer. So I can also have the sale on here. Okay, so yes, I can easily see within the system the customer that I've sold, how much the customer owes me. I can see all that. So if my finance team has to chase the customer for the customer to pay, I can also easily chase the customer for the customer to pay. So currently, we've had a look at how this transaction also plays out within the system, right? So in ending my presentation, we'll have a look at the summary. So on the summary, basically, we are telling you the benefits that you get, out of Dynamics 365 and how Dynamics 365 Business Central makes you take decisions, help you get value for money, and also enable you to work from everywhere, how you can get real-time information, how you can leverage on the already, let's say, tools that you have within Microsoft, right? You have all those things, how flexible Dynamics is, and how Dynamics can help you grow your business or your activities within the business, right? So in conclusion, I would just say the best system is not the one that you just invest in, but is one that gives you consistent value, support growth, and also make everyday work simpler.